All right, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Bean Talking Podcast. I'm Tim Beanland, and on this episode we talk to Prashant Nand. Very exciting for me. He was one of my first bosses and one of the first people to teach me anything to do with sales. But he's also a debt reduction specialist, so we talked about how you can pay your mortgage down in really quick times, and also having a budget that fits around your lifestyle. We also talked about how to nail job interviews and how sales can relate to that. So I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this one. Now let's go. Prashant, thank you for being on, fourth guest. Very cool.
It's an honour, dude. Absolute honour.
This is a special one for me. So, debt reduction specialist, proud father, my past boss. So that would be my sum up of you. But for people that don't know who you are and that sort of thing, give us your introduction of yourself.
Okay. I fell into finance in 2006 as a consultant, and when I say I fell into it, I literally fell into it. I had no idea how mortgages, finance, debt reduction works, but it was something that I was interested in learning more and more about. Mm-hmm. So when I started my journey, or going through the training, visiting clients, looking at the situation, I started realizing that, hang on, this is a huge area, not just for me learning and understanding how everything works, but a lot of people that I sat in front of, they did not have any idea either. So the downside to that was that a lot of banks were making huge profits out of it, and people did not understand how to manage their money better. So for me, it was a huge eye opener, and throughout that journey, I've managed to help a lot of people pay down their debt, save money and interest. So, and you sort of went through that journey with me, seeing what happens with the mortgage side and what the banks get up to.
Yeah.
So
I'm seeing a bit of a play of that at the moment. We'll get into that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I enjoy helping people. I guess that's the big.
That was the big pull to it. Was the fact that you could go into a home and really see where somebody's life is heading through their finances, what they want to do, but there's this discrepancy between what's actually happening and what they can. Reality
of the situation. And what can be achieved, and there is a wide gap. And a lot of people, I guess, just leave it saying, okay, this is the way it's meant to be, but if they continue down that track, like you said, it's not going to end.
I want
a lot of people.
You've told me this story in the past, almost the first time you sat in front of a couple.
Yes.
A tea was spilt due to the shock.
Yeah, coffee.
Coffee was spilt due to the shock. Can you take me into that moment?
I'll never forget it.
And that story.
So I've been in this couple's home probably for about 15 minutes, and I had a lot of resistance from the lady. And rightfully so. You've got a complete stranger coming into your house, sitting down, asking to look at your mortgage statements, to do an analysis on it, to look at ways to help you pay your mortgage off better, faster, and save you money and interest. And this lady was absolutely, not only cynical, but she was skeptical every question under the sun, and this is probably in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, fair.
So I was patient. I said, "Yep, no problem." And the husband said, "Yep, let's just get on with it. Show me what you've got." But so we went through probably 40 minutes of going around in circles, and then by the time we started the presentation, they started to listen. 10 minutes into it, I've shown them how much money they've paid into their loan, and it was $148,000.
So you still remember the figures?
I'll never forget. $148,000 that they paid into their loan, and that was over 7 years, and their mortgage only came down like $10,000 if they were lucky.
Wow.
So when I, physically added up those things and showed it to them on their statement, said, okay, here's the calculator, you do it. And while I was doing this calculation, I'm going, no, this has to be wrong. 148,000, 10 years, it's only come down, 7 years, only come down to like $10,000. So when I did the numbers on the calculator, I actually had coffee come out of my mouth onto the dining table.
Oh no!
And because it was a shock of it.
Yeah.
And the husband just looked at me. He didn't care at the coffee table, coffee coming out of my mouth. He's just sat there and he's looking at the calculator, looking at the wife, and he turned around to the wife and said, "You're not looking after the finances anymore."
But it's not actually the wife's fault.
It wasn't. It was It was a very uncomfortable situation. Apart from me, coffee over the table, but looking at the husband and seeing how much money that they've put into it, and the wife asking me 101 questions, and then coming to that, and both of them were devastated. The wife had tears running down her eyes, and the husband was slammed his hand on the coffee table, the dining table.
Some more coffee gets spilled.
Yeah, so it was very, and I'm sitting in the middle of going, I don't know what to do. So quickly sort of calmed them both down and explained to them, this is something that I see a lot, but this was my first appointment where it was so much money, lot of time and raw emotions. Raw emotions of the husband working so long and trying to pay this debt down and nothing's happening. The wife trying to figure out everything under the sun, but nothing was working, and this is the hard reality of it.
Yeah, wow. So why does that happen? What's, in a brief context, because there can be many reasons as to why that could happen, but what's the situation that's put these people where they've paid that amount of money into a loan, but it's just 10...
I think it's to do with a lack of knowledge, and you've got a lot of, not just banks, we've got a lot of mortgage brokers, and I think it comes down to the consumers as well, because if everyone's sort of looking around for cheaper interest rates, yes, I'm consolidating a couple of debts. Every time they refinance, they're going to reset themselves to a 30-year loan, and that's what happened with this particular couple. But when you reset your loan, your interest payments and your principal payments starts from scratch. So from day one, most people know the mortgage does not go down much in the first 5 years. So a lot of that is the early interest that a lot of people end up paying. I think, to answer your question, a lot of people don't realise also is it's at the start you need to pay as much into it as possible. So no one's having that discussion with the consumers or people, So, or having a plan or a strategy or working out your budgets and saying, okay, well, this is what I can afford to live on, and this is the leftover money. Guess what? If we don't use that money to against our debts, our brain just figures out ways to spend it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we'll see Christmas sales and Boxing Day sales and Black Friday sales, and
correct.
Off we go.
It's a natural thing. We've always got things that we want to buy, or we're looking forward to.
Oh, I've got a list of them.
Yeah. And so do I, right?
Yeah.
Because I love spending money as well, but like most people, but I do have a plan, on what I can do, what I can't do, and delayed gratification. So, really coming back to your question, I see 90% of people that we sit in front of and we look at their mortgage figures and finances, and this is over the last 13 years, I found this, that, a lot of people, they want to do the right thing. They don't know how to go about it. What is the right conversations that they need to have with their finance specialist, and do they actually have the right tools in place to help them guide and measure and say, okay, well, I'm getting some traction here. This is the results I'm getting because I've done this. Okay, can I make a couple more improvements here? So it is an ongoing thing. There's no magic bullet. So that's where I'll work more closely, and you've got to have that pain, because once you have that pain of saying, okay, well, this is not working, I'm sick of paying all this money to the banks and interest, people, have to come to their own realisation that this is the money that they could have been redirecting towards their family or doing the things that they want to do. Yeah.
So, actually talking on that pain, it's a bit of a pain word, is budget.
Yes. We don't like it as Australians.
Well, as humans, I don't think we like it, and I've been wanting to prepare a budget for myself, but been putting it off because it's this word that we think a budget is restricting us, but in terms of the practicality, I've heard you say a budget is what actually sets you free.
Yes.
Because once you know, do you have a process of a budget? Is there a rule that you like to take? I mean, everybody has, there's a third rule. Or,
there's
do you have
many, like again, coming across in that 13 years, I've never seen a generic client, you know, the same type of budget, same, you know, income coming in. It just doesn't happen. So everyone's got different incomes, different living expenses, different lifestyles. Yeah. So realistically, I talk to people and do what you love doing. You know, if it's spending time with the kids or kids' education, you know, I've got a friend of mine that loves cars. You know, he loves spending money in cars. So I say, okay, well, we're going to build all this budget and all the expenditure around that. Yeah, because I don't want to take that away from him. Then it makes it very painful. Saying I'm working, but I can't have the things that I want. You know, you're not going to maintain that, are you? So I look at all those things, and then I build the expenditure around my clients, and then I have the realistic conversations about, okay, well, if you're running in deficit, you know, no one can build a plan or a strategy around that. So what are some of the areas that we're overspending on that we don't need to? A couple of good ones that come up all the time is, you know, your mobile phones, your Telstra bills, or your internet. You know, because there's better packages out there, so you got to go out and renegotiate those. You know, I did this for a client recently. It was like $7,000 per annum, like is what we were looking at, just saving just by renegotiating some of these utilities or you know fixed contracts and plans that they were on. So, but that doesn't,
things that people forget about.
Set and forget type direct debits. Those are very common. So, you know, I think the average is around the 6,000 that can be just saved just by doing that. So it does take a little bit of focus that you need to do that, but getting a specialist in to do that, you know, because no emotions tied to it. It's just, okay, well, we're there to save you money. This is some of the things, and we can have that discussion. Do you want to get rid of this, or do you want to reduce this?
Because I remember when working with you, you'd sometimes factor in people's cigarettes and even down to that micro level, because it's almost like a diet. You can't go out there and start eating kale and salad straight away.
Yes, that's right.
Right? Or else you're going to go and binge on chocolate 2 weeks later.
Correct, yeah.
Same thing with budget.
Very much the same, yeah. Very much the same. So that discipline side of it takes time. It is a habit change. It's a mindset change. So what we do, you know, a lot with our clients is to sort of focus on the headspace. You know, like, where do you want to be? You know, what are some of the areas you're not winning, and why aren't you winning? So when we're analysing and going back to the mortgage statements, that's one area that we look at, and we analyse and sort of say, okay, what's working here, what's not. But a lot of people have got the mortgage side all back to front anyway. Banks are happy to leave it that way. Mortgage brokers are happy to leave it that way, and you know, so. Well,
let's touch on that because it's topical right now. And you know, you've been doing what I like to call for a number of years bank bashing, and it's probably a popular time to do that with the Royal Commission. And I'll just go over a broad question: is what's your opinion on everything that's going
on? I think it's been this for me. This is not new because I've seen a lot of this. How the banks behave badly.
Oh, it's fun for me to have conversations even. I just had a micro taste of it, but you've been working longer,
I think it's the customers. I think there's a couple of components. First is I'm always going to say to the consumer, or you know, my clients, accountability, you know, responsibility. If this is something serious that you want to do, then you can't rely on the banks or anyone else to sort of say, okay, well, we're going to set you free.
Is your name on the dotted line?
Yeah, you know, I'd go through this analogy with my clients. I want them to think like a business. You know, like, as being business owners, directors of their family home business. You know, who should make decisions around it? They should. So to make a decision, you need to be informed. Right. So, and you need your specialists around you. You know, being business owners doesn't mean that you know everything. No. But you'll get the right people involved to help you in certain areas. So coming back to that, so from my client's point of view, I want them to take responsibility, ownership, learn, use the right tools. And then you've got the other aspect of it. You know, if you think about it, what's a bank's job to do? The bank's job is to
give you money.
The longer you have that money, you know, borrowed or lent, from the banks, the more interest you're going to pay. So is it in their best interest to help you pay down the mortgage?
Don't think so.
No, is it?
Don't think it is.
So, and
in fact, they might call you up and say, "Oh, do you want a boat or a car?"
Yeah, or we think you qualify. You're going to see less of this anyway because of the Royal Commission. We're going to increase your credit card for another 5,000. We just need a verbal okay. Is that okay?
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Do you want some more money to spend?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, correct, and that's been the problem, epidemic, if you want to call it, in Australia for the last 20 years, where we've been trained how to use money on credit, more credit, and refinancing, they made it more and more easier, which is fine because that means you should be able to refinance from one loan to another if it saves you money. But if you keep doing that, all you're doing is resetting your 30-year loan term, your payments get lower because you've refinanced. But if you keep spending that money, then you're going to have a mortgage not for 30 years, 60 years, 70 years, right? So that's an area that, coming back to your question, it's like Royal Commission's got their job, which is highlighting there's something really, really wrong at the moment with how Australians are going to be, some are going to be retiring at 70 with a $300,000 mortgage debt. How's that possible if you've had... Yeah, it's very scary. So, they're going to also look at, you've got APRA and your ASIC, fining banks for some of the things or lack of, customer or consumer support around these particular products and encouraging them to take on more debt. I think we also have to sort of recognise, and I'm not seeing much of this in the media, is where no one's sort of asking the consumers why aren't you doing something about it? No one's taking responsibility in that area. Why did you take it on? You can always say, no, I don't want my credit card increase. I want my credit card closed. Or reduce my limit. I don't need a $10,000 credit card with a zero balance on it. I'll be happy with $1,000. How many times has a consumer rang the bank and asked them, so look, can you help me? And I love this question. Can you help me or show me a way to pay off my mortgage in under 10 years? And what do you think the bank would say to that?
I don't know.
I think that's a good exercise for a lot of people.
Exercise. Go and do it if you're listening.
Go do it.
Ring up your bank.
So the short answer, do it anyway, but I think the short answer anyone can tell you is just pay more into it. How do you pay more into it with the cost of living being so high? So that's another factor, So the Royal Commissions, you've got consumers not taking responsibility or ownership of it. You've got marketing out of control saying buy this. And
cheap rate.
Cheap, or we'll finance or interest free. And we've been on this credit binge for the last 20 years where our generation, younger generation, we're just so used to being debt or money. We've just got no accountability side of it. So I think it's a number of things, not just one, that needs to be addressed and out there. So, I can't help the economy and everyone out there as much as I love to help people. But when I sit down with my clients, these are the conversations that I sort of have to bring home. And if people don't sort of understand or take, they're not going to take this responsibility on or ownership on, then I can't work with them because, it's a losing battle. So I find a lot of my clients that do understand these things, they kind of know these things. So the fact that we're having these conversations, we're not talking about an interest rate, we don't care about what bank the loan's with, we're talking about what are you going to be doing in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, when do you want to retire?
Practical stuff that actually means something.
Correct,
rather than what's the price.
Correct, and we always get asked that question. What's the cheapest interest rate you get? We just sort of brush it off because we don't care. The reason why we don't care.
Why is so it's marketed?
Cheapest
rate. Why is the cheapest rate not necessarily?
Because no one's got control over the. I don't have control of the interest rate, so I might get you the cheapest rate right now, but 3 months later, whatever lender decides to put it up. It's going to go up. We've just had a situation last week where 3 of the major banks, right, and they just put up the interest rates up outside of the RBA cycle. And their explanation was because of raise of funding. So I've seen that rate because of raise of funding on the overseas market as an answer for the last 5 years. Every time they've bumped up the rate.
So can someone with a higher rate hypothetically pay off a loan quicker than someone with a lower rate?
Yeah, I've seen it done plenty of times.
Mm.
Yeah, by having the right strategy and efficiency built in there. And you may say, well, efficiency, cheaper rate is always going to be better. But I've seen someone on 6% pay off their loan much faster than someone that's been on 4%.
Yeah.
They're more happier for it.
That's one of those cool little secrets of the industry, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And not a lot of people know it. And when I was younger, working with you and trying to explain to my friends and family that rate isn't the thing, it was a very hard conversation to have.
Yeah, because we're all programmed.
Yeah.
You may be at a barbecue and you may say, well, what's your interest rate? I'm looking at refinancing. What's the cheapest rate we can get out there? And someone will say, I've got 3.5.
Yeah.
That's based on them and their situation, based on how much equity they've got.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's probably not 3.5. It's something that they think it's 3.5, which was 3.5 2 years ago. Yeah, it's closer to 4%. I remember sitting down with my accountant, and he's pretty sharp. He's across the board with a lot of things. And I said, did you know that the AMP put up their rates? He's like, I'm with AMP, and I'm going, yeah, I know. Did you know? He goes, no. So I go, check what your interest rate is. Wow. So he looked it up right there on the telephone, and he's like, and it was like, these bastards. These bastards put it up, and I didn't even get a letter, no confirmation. Thanks for letting me know.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's not a strategy. That's the reason why we don't care about we do look for cheap rates, and but we look at the overall what's the right product and what's the right service for our clients, to get them 5 years, pay down the debt, or the wife is minimizing her income or reducing income because she wants to spend more time with the family, health reasons, whatever these things are. We have those conversations because we're trying to build. What we do is we build a finance around the clients. Yeah. Where you walk into a branch or you engage with most mortgage brokers or banks, you're talking about like a pretty generic type of product. And I do want to sort of add this as well, Tim. If you look at your pro packs, your professional packages, they're all the same. The difference is I guess they'll start you off on 5.5% on a professional, and then they'll discount 0.6 off it because you're paying $395 per year. But you add 395 times 10, 10 years annually. That's fees that you're paying for a professional package to get a discount, and you'll get a 0.6 discount or 0.8 discount or 0.9 discount. But then if you go to some of the non-bank lenders, which is much cheaper, you're starting much lower. They start at very low rates, and if you structure, a no-frills account type of setup, you're getting much more better advantages there, than saying. And the reason why these professional packages have been handed around so much is because you're a professional. It's made to
for you.
Yeah, it's marketed like, you're a professional. Here's a professional package, and that gives you this.
Yeah, and you're a little bit higher status, so the ego comes into it.
Yeah. But how do you like? 2/3 of people that I sit down and are sitting around with these pro packs, professional packages, and they don't know how to use them, and they're paying all these annual fees,
just not getting the value of it.
Correct.
And that comes back to knowing what you have and
So sometimes with the professional packages, yes, it works out cheaper if you've got more stuff with them. If you've got self-managed super, you've got multiple investment properties, you've got there's a place for them in there. But if you don't need all that, you've just got a basic home loan and you're just trying to pay that down. You don't need to go to this extravagant $395 annual fees, and you get the slightly the rates are higher anyway. So you can say I'm with a Westpac, I'm with an ANZ. I think there was brand. There's a question you asked me years and years ago, and it sort of stayed with me. It was like, and this is with you talking to people. They've got mortgages with major banks, and you were talking to them about how to make an appointment with one of our consultants to go out and see them and show them how to pay off their mortgage. And people used to be very proud. I'm with the Commonwealth.
Yeah, they're proud of it.
I mean, you had some of this.
I love my bank.
Yeah. And I think, I used to ask me, how do you deal with it? I used to say, well, do you love your bank more than your family?
Yeah. Or your bank loves you too.
Yeah, that's right. And you are not, your banks, the banks are not. You're not clients of the banks. The shareholders are So they are working for their shareholders. They're not working for you. You're just an account. And the longer you have, the debts or mortgages or personal loans with them, they're very happy with you.
Very cool. I want to delve into a little bit of the psychology of yourself. So you've started My Family Finance, and it's been going for a while now. And I just want to ask why.
You asked me this before.
I've asked you a number of times, but why?
Well, when I first got into it, I saw this problem where the lack of education, people are not working, it's from a consulting point of view. I like working with my clients to sort of say, okay, well, this is where you are, this is what's happening, and pulling their mortgages apart and really understanding what would people like to, take the mortgages out of it, but what would you like as a person? As a family, what are you guys trying to achieve? And for me, it's always been, I've always been good at that, finding out what people want. Friends, family, anybody.
You're a guy when you're growing up, you could get things.
If they said, oh look, I'm stuck here, can you help me with this? Yeah, I think I know a guy. Let me speak to him and try, and I'll connect the dots. So it's very much the same thing. It's solutions, problem solving. It just happens that mortgages. The mortgage side of it, or the planning side of it, the strategy side of it, I can do so much out there for people, and that's just, and it also goes to say there's so much of people that don't know, and that's why it's costing them thousands. So it's the opportunities lost
to educate.
Yeah, so I love families, kids. I want people to do better. I want husband and wife to, communicate properly to each other. I want the kids to grow up in a good, safe environment. In a good family environment. I don't want them to grow up in a toxic environment. Personally, my family's never been like that. We've always been supportive. We grew up in West Sunshine. It was one of the roughest neighbourhoods back those years. So we learnt a lot of things very early, what's important, what's the right thing to do. So, so coming back to families, I never want to see, people fighting over money.
Going back to the coffee situation. So as a business owner, you would have learnt a lot of lessons over the time, and for anyone starting a business, what I guess would you say has been your number one lesson for running a business at this time?
Ownership.
Okay.
Ownership. Because being a business owner, everything's on you. The buck stops with you. Your development or your growth or your business planning. Training, mentoring, everything's on you. So you have to grow as a person, and put yourself in front of these challenges. There's no shying away from it. So it's some people think it's as easy as just hiring a specialist. Yeah, it is. But you still have to work with that specialist.
Yeah, you need to train them up.
Yeah, train them up, or give them, saying, here's the vision. This is what I'm trying to do. Can you do this? Is this specialist the right fit for me? We've gone through a number of marketing companies, and that was just,
Yeah, I've been on phone calls with you going, you need to fire them.
Yeah, that's right. Correct. But, the current marketing company, they're very new to this, and I like working with them because they're very honest. I keep saying that. They're very honest, they're very upfront, and if they don't know, they say, well, Prashant, we don't know. And I'm like, that's great, let's go find out together. It comes down to attitude. So for me, I have to have that positive attitude, problem solving. People around me need to be like that, and if they're not, I need to either train them to get them to that spot. If they're not, then I can't be around it.
Yeah.
It's just I can see a natural conflict. Yeah.
And that actually leads me into another question, because you've had a lot of management experience as well as the ownership of a business. And what are the traits? Because I guess a big part of my audience is sort of 20, 30-year-old. They're looking for full-time work almost. Before jumping into an entrepreneurship, maybe. What are the qualities that you would look for in someone that you're managing, in terms of they're actually working for you? So let's post interview. What makes a good talent member?
Okay, so you said post-interview.
Yeah, so now you're working with them.
Correct.
What are you
I
looking
look for attitude.
Yeah,
I look for attitude, and is this person coachable, trainable? Because the skills can be, you can train on skills. So if they've got a positive attitude, they've got a willingness to learn, they're excited about helping people, helping themselves. So I think from that point onwards, I think for me it's been very easy, because I can work with those people and sort of, okay, where's the gaps in skills? Is it a time management issue? Whatever it is, I think those gaps I can see them very quickly, and then I can coach around it. But you can't beat attitude any day of the week,
well, then that begs the question: Can attitude be trained? I mean, it's sniffed out in the interview, of course. But everyone goes through ebbs and flows.
Yeah, that's right. I think it can be trained, but it's around the people.
Right.
If you're in a good group of people, it's positive attitude is contagious. Same as enthusiasm, excitement. So I think if you're around those people, whether my organisation or any other organisation out there, or even a group of friends, if you're around people that are downers, that are negative, unfortunately, no matter how positive attitude you've got, they're gonna pull you down.
Yeah, you're the makeup of the 5 people you spend your time with.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been around hundreds of years now. So, but people don't sort of take note of that and say, okay, well, who is the 5 people that I spend most of my life, in my time and energy? 13 years of my career, I remember I had to shut down all my friends, most of my friends.
Wow.
And and even my family, direct family, because I was on a mission, right?
Wow.
And Tim, I've got some of my best friends from over that 13 years. Some of them I only saw them 2 or 3 times a year, right? But the times that I did catch up, nothing changed. The conversation was still the same. There's still they were like, "Yep, hey brother, what's going on? Let's go do this." Bang, we'll be off. But we didn't have to spend 5 days, out there drinking and doing all the things that that we did when we were 21, 22. It's just, we all had families, we all got busy, but I was on a mission building my business. So people that knew me, and knew me deep down and saying this is what I wanted, they were fine with it.
Accepted it.
Correct. If they know I was there, if there was some kind of an emergency or with family or whatever, they'd always pick up the phone. I'd just drop everything. I'd go see.
So then, do you get pushback from the people that are sort of not with you? Do they?
You always get the emotional guilt trip. I've got a close friend. His heart's full of gold, and that's kind of one of the things I don't get to spend as much time with him.
Yeah. And this isn't. We're not saying completely get rid of those friends. It's just probably about limiting the time. That you spend with them.
Correct. Yeah, and he's just such a nice person. Unfortunately, back in the day, every time we used to catch up, we'd end up, smoking and having drinks and just doing nothing. It's not who I am.
Not
right
who you
now.
are. Yeah.
Am I planning to catch up with him this year before end of the year? Absolutely. Yeah, how's everything going? What's happening? Because people move, their headspace, their mindset changes, accordingly to where they are and what they want.
So that begs the question: if you need to get rid of friends, how important is the role of a mentor? And I'm quite proud to say you're one of my mentors and close friends.
Thank you. Yeah.
And
do you remember years ago? I want to share something with you. Do you remember years ago when I said to you that I don't want you as a friend?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you're like, what? It's almost like I don't want, because that was going back to the time. I was saying, where I am in my life, I've got friends, but these friends that I've got, how many of them are helping me get to what I want, right? And they're supportive, right? And it was very few. It was like one or two that was like, and those one or two were the ones that said, you know, you just keep going. Whenever you need us, call us and we'll catch up. Or, you know, if you need time to think, talk. So my attitude was, I don't need friends. Yeah. What I need around me are people that are, you know, positive attitude, good people, you know, they support me. I can support them. Yeah. So that relationship works on that level. Yeah. But see, friends, and a long time ago, one of my mentors said this to me, right? Which was, friends generally let you down. And when you try and catch them and say, well, hang on, you're my friend, why did you do this? They'll say, oh, I'm sorry, but that's, you know, it's not even...
They'll test the boundary.
Yeah, but it's that sorry is not even... It's like, well, because I'm your friend.
Yeah. No.
You know, that's not a good friend. If a friend constantly lets you down... And
so I think you were afraid of that excuse. Yeah. Excuses coming from me.
That's right. Well, I would not have it.
No.
Because I've known you for many years. I know how hard you worked. And, you know, I've pushed you as well. You know, I've made you do some horrible things. You know, saying, yeah, you know what, stand up, give me a chair.
You know, if
you can't make a point, you know, you're useless.
That's why I'm so good.
Yeah. So, you know, so, and it's not just you, I've done that too as well, but that was to break you out of, you know, your comfort levels, you know, so, but if I was your friend and I'm taking your chair, you're going to be, you know, you'd have this thing on you, but you're my friend. I'm not your friend. You know, I want results out of you, and more importantly, I want you to have those mini wins. Yeah, and when you have those mini wins, what happens? You get stronger, you get better. Yeah. Right. So I'll keep coming back. We're still not friends.
No, I'll keep pushing. It's alright.
No, you are an absolute friend. But you know what is more important to me is your growth. You know, seeing you develop your business, doing all the podcasts. You know, and there's wonderful value that you share with me, and I think you're more than a friend, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think most of my friends are like, yeah, you're just a friend.
Yeah. Where's the value?
Yeah.
How can I use this in my business?
Yeah.
But yeah, like you touched on one of your mentors there, and I think you've told me there was a point where you were 24 or 25 and you just knew you needed to surround yourself with the right people. Tell me how important that decision was, and who did you find, if you want to mention them? And
Absolutely. There was first things first. You know, very early in my career, and this is probably the first time it happened to me, and where I sort of see the transformation, major decision that I had to make, and then I made the decision, and then I saw the changes happen around me within 3 months. So what it was I was working a 9 to 5, hated it because I'm too creative, right? I can't sit there still for a whole 8 hours in front of a computer screen. You know, it's just not me. But I was doing it, and I was getting paid very minimum wages. And I think the best thing about that particular job where I was at the time was right next to me in the same building, in the same organisation, there was a fully catered gym, right? And I'd finish my work. For me to finish my full day's work, I'd do it in 3 hours. Yeah, wow. Start early in the morning and smash it out. Yeah. The rest of the time I'd spend reading motivational books. Cool. Right? And get straight into the gym and do 2-hour training sessions paid, right? If you think about it, paid training sessions. And, you know, after that, I'd have, you know, my meals and things like that. And I'd finish off another 15, 20 minutes at the end of the day, which was critical at that time. Finish that off before I finished work. And that was it. I was very happy, content. Yeah, because that was a routine that I got myself into, and I love the positive. But those positive books that I was reading was saying, "Well, are you happy with what you was?" Yeah, so
I felt that.
Yeah. I think most people have, and sometimes you feel uncomfortable. It's that thing that inside of you saying, "Yeah, is this all there is?" You know. And for me, I knew no, it wasn't. So I spoke to my missus and I said, "Look, I'm going to quit." And she's like, "Why?"
Why?
You know, because I said, you know, we need to get more serious about income goals. We wanted to build a house. You know, we wanted to start a family. We were newlyweds at that time, so she was working 9 to 5 hours, and both of them. I think for her it was more of a negative environment, going to work and seeing people bitch, whinge, gossip, and she'd come home and sometimes she'd be scratching her head going, I'm going nuts here. And I said, okay, leave it with me.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the goals was to get her out of her job.
Great. And that can give you a level of motivation that's higher than yourself.
Yeah, that's right. It was selfless.
Yeah.
Right, but having said that, I'm also very selfish, right? So one of the things was I wanted to have control over my income, and I can't do that in a salary environment because no matter how hard you work,
you're capped.
Yeah, you're capped. So hence me working hard, I had my own motivation. I was finish all my work in 3 hours, right? Because I could do this.
Yeah.
Now, if I did that in 2 hours, would I get paid more?
No,
right? So they're basically...
In fact, you'd probably be given more tasks.
Yeah, that's right. Correct. So this 9 to 5 environment, they captured me from something like 7:30 to 3 o'clock, and I couldn't, in that time frame, that's their time, but I've managed to squeeze in my motivational books. I've managed to, squeeze in the gym time, but I'd finish everything that needed, and if anyone needed help, I'll be there to help, right? What more do you want, right? Yeah. So one of the things was to have control over my income. Second thing on my list was to be around successful people, because I knew from motivational books that if you're around successful people, it rubs off. Yeah. So I wanted to get into business because I knew business, you can control the level of income based on your activities or your efforts, right? So for me, that was important. And so there was a number of things, like a third on the list was getting rid of the job for my wife, sports car. There was like a whole list of 10 things that I wrote on paper. But the third, Tim, I've never done that where I've sat down and made a list of 10 things.
You're the first one to tell me if you want to do something, you can go and write it down.
Yeah, was I?
Yeah.
Because it happened to me. Reality was it happened.
I carried around a paper and pen for a very long time.
Yeah.
I still need to.
So that's dropped off.
It's dropped off. It'll lose
the idea. You
get
an idea, you write on a piece of paper, bang, you've got it. Because the mind wanders, yeah? So I resigned. I didn't find a job. I didn't have anything, but I resigned. In that process of me resigning, I had a week or 2 weeks to resign, and then I also booked up 8 appointments of interviews. I ended up getting all 8 in terms of
that's a good strike rate.
Yeah, for 100%. and I reckon it was. I think it was because of my attitude. I was portraying this energy, excitement.
Again, that's probably why you look for it.
Yeah, and it delivers. And 8 out of it. And here's the thing, and this is one thing that I want to share to your audience, right? They weren't interviewing me. I was interviewing them.
Yeah. I've actually, I don't know, maybe I got that from you, but any interview that I went to...
you got it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Just go close them.
We close it.
Yeah. They go there to get in a question loop with them and start answering their questions. Just what can you do for me?
The amount of friends that I see coming out of the university system and they're struggling with that, and I say, okay, well, I'll sit you down and teach you some sales. Yeah. Because
powerful. Yeah.
Very powerful. You are there. It's a phrase. You are there to sell yourself during an interview, and people understand that. But I don't think they understand how to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no, it's a skill that can be learned.
Yeah.
That's
the first thing. Yeah. That's the first thing. I think people hear sales and they go, "Oh no, I need to be gifted of the gab," but it's a learned skill.
So I'm happy to say, like, one of my strengths is sales. From a very early age, and why I like sales is because I see it as just problem solving. And people come to me with problems. Yeah, I'm helping people. Is that what you said? Helping?
Yeah, helping.
Yeah. So people come to me and say, "Well, look, Prashant, I'm stuck with this. Can you help me?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, of course." It actually takes the focus is not on me. My life and what I'm doing. And I found if I put my focus on you and what you're trying to achieve, I can be very tactical about it, or okay, here's the solution, and the solutions just come to me. And maybe some people it doesn't come to, or they struggle with it. But for me, it's like, oh, I've got this problem. Okay, well, let's reverse it and just do this. And so I was very good at a very early age. So for me, that's why I chose sales very early in my career. Now, when I started growing, learning a little bit more, got into leadership and management. So even when I made that decision of resigning from that, position and saying, okay, I want to go back into sales, leadership, business. sales was one of the things. So all 8 jobs were in sales. So why sales? Because it forces you discipline. Yeah, you have to train yourself to be the best you can be. Why? Because your income's dependent on it, right? So people think sales is just a gift of the gift. Furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah.
You are constantly reading motivational books. You are constantly reading sales disciplines. You are constantly
the development.
Yeah, you need mentors. The self-development side of it was just massive. Now, somewhere along my journey, I read in books, one of the biggest assets you can have is you investing in you, right? You can invest in property, you can invest in, whatever. But someone told me a long time ago, business, you can have a business, but you can get sued. They can take it all away from you. You can have you can have multiple properties. The market changes on you. The property shifts. Bang! All of a sudden, you're in a negative equity situation.
You need to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. These things can happen. But if you invest in your mind, and your health is just as important. But if you can do those things, and I learned that not very early.
Through sales, you do. You learn that through sales. The routine of it.
Correct.
The routine, the investment in yourself because you need to improve.
Yeah.
And then you realise how mentally taxing it is and physically taxing it is.
Yeah.
The best result you can sometimes get is standing up.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be standing up for 5 hours making cold calls, you better be physically and mentally fit.
Correct. Cold calls, door knocking. I've done it. I've some of the things that I hated the most was standing in a shopping centre asking people, what? And you can see people have
I loved it.
Yeah, I know you loved it. But I used to, because I prefer the telephones any of the day. Why? Less. I'm not standing all day in a shopping centre, right, trying to get people to buy this. And it was like, even for me, I can't sell something that if the product's not good and you can't help someone, I just forget it. You won't find me anywhere near it.
And don't, Jordan, who was first on this, he said the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're selling a bad product, just stop.
True.
You need to, the most important sale you'll ever make is the sale of yourself.
Yeah, correct.
And
would you buy this? Would you recommend this to your family? Would you get your friends and family to use this particular product so they can get the benefit?
The amount of salespeople out there that haven't bought their own products, crazy.
Probably, I don't know.
It's I've read it in books and the stats.
Oh, because they're going out there to sell
they're
something.
They're going out there to sell. Say I'm an insurance salesman and I'm not buying the insurance from the company that I'm selling for. Do you think you'll be a lesser salesman than someone that's actually bought the product and using it? The effectiveness of the person.
I don't think you necessarily need to use the product. It's the fact that you can see a genuine benefit for the client. I think there's a benefit having people having solar.
True.
Right, and this is one of the things because efficiency. It's good for the planet, but I looked at my own scenario and I said, no matter how many ways I measured my own, performance when it comes to electricity, solar was never going to work out for me.
Yeah, okay. But you could still see the benefit.
I can still benefit. Like for me, and that's one of the things that I investigated because of my energy consumption being so low. The investment, the ROI on it was never going to be worth it. Now, if someone has got a high bill of high expenses for whatever reason, is it, am I comfortable saying maybe you need to look at solar?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think it's a genuine belief that someone's going to use the product, they're going to get more out of it. Obviously, you need to use the product or, have experience in it. So, but I don't necessarily think you need that particular product.
That comes in with training.
Yeah. Now, we digressed a little bit because we were talking about, the importance of sales. And I think to your audience, that is one area that,
thank you for going back
to
it.
It's you'll find most business people are naturally salespeople in the background. Why? Because, they've had to solve this, sell someone a concept and saying this is where the company or the vision's going. They're not only have to solve themselves, they're going to sell other people on their journey, their vision. And that's where good leaders come in as well. Some managements can say, well, if you do this, you're going to get a pay rise. If you don't do this, you're going to get
Fired.
Fired, right? So I can say that's a form of a sale as well, because you have to buy into saying, well, if I do this, I can get the bonus. You choose, right? So what I've found over the years is, sales is effective communication, but a lot of people have got this hang up about, they're going to just flog me something, sell me something, they're going to sell me something that I don't need, they're going to waste my time. So if people are sort of wasting all this energy on things that may not even happen, they've already painted a picture of, he's a salesman, that's going to sell me something. I remember I said to you not long ago, it's very important that you are nice to salespeople.
Conversation on the phone.
Correct. Yeah, it was because if you're nice to a salesperson and they like working with you, and this is where the sale normally happens. If they like you, you like them. There's a very good chance there's something of value that's going to be, and that's what a sale is to me. Enthusiasm, excitement. I'm excited about something that can actually help you, and you buy into it and say, "Yeah, fantastic, I can see this." That's where a sale's been made. So it's communication is number one. So I remember someone asked me to do a training session, just at how do you win every interview. It was through a Rotary group, because I spent a little bit of time with Rotary, and they said, okay, well, and I was asked to jump on the stage, and just someone asked that question: how do you deal, or how do you engage on that level? So I think quality questions important. Find out about what what the company stands for, who's going to interview.
That's very important.
You. And when I went for my 8 jobs, and I got all 8. Right, they were all in sales. I was in one of them. I found one guy. He had tick, he had money. Everything, development was there, but the guy was so arrogant. So when I was, and he was the owner of the business, and I was looking at it, going, "Do I want to become this person?" No. So everything on my list of questions that I sort of had in my mental, tick box, but the arrogance thing just, broke it. Said, "No, I don't want to become this person." The one that role that I did take. Which was a consulting role that I did for close to 10 years. That I got the most out of it was the sales manager at the time was very, very sharp. He took a genuine interest in me, my family. He wanted to know exactly where I am, because he knew the journey ahead was not going to be easy.
No.
I've had to to sort of say no to friends, family. Work 6 days straight, 7 days in some cases, and some of these days were 12-hour days. I'll be driving all over Melbourne, and there was times where we used to do country trips, and when I say country, we used a group of 10 consultants would just jump in our cars and we'd go to Dubbo, Orange, for 2 weeks away from our families, and we're going for it, so mental toughness. When he was interviewing me, he's like, okay, can I groom this person up to be this? I think anyone that's interviewing, and I've been both sides of the fence, that if you're interviewing for a role, it should be about how do I make this person better than I am. And that
you should almost be scared when you're interviewing that this person is going to be better than
you. Should you be scared?
Well,
I don't think so. I
don't know where I got that from.
No, because some are. You're right. Because some interviews, they've got their own thing, ego. That if he's better than me, then I may lose my job. And some managers can be like that. But having said that, I've come across some fantastic managers and people that they are always training you to be better than them, because if they create more of you, they just go up the level.
And it's almost like in a sports context where you've got a first team and a second team, but the second team players are pushing for selection.
Yes.
It's going to make the first people a lot better as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, so, look at where you're spending your time, and this is directly to your audience, because, and I'm talking from experience. I'm a lot older than you two. The grey hairs and show. But, be tactical about it. Be around people that are successful in the industries or things that you want to become. Be around them. Do things. Don't just follow them around. Do things. Get them to set you tasks. One of the things I learned recently, and because you're always learning, and it was we were talking about mentors. It's very hard to find a mentor that's got everything. So you got to pick, okay, this mentor is good for these 3-4 things. I've got a spiritual mentor, right? completely different from business and all the different, I've got a mentor that's sort of, health. He's very focused on health. But it's very hard to sort of go, okay, here's your family, there's your wealth, the money side of it, and then you've got your health and fitness, and then you've got your spiritual. I need to be more balanced, because I know me personally, I'm very aggressive or very one area or the other. So I'm learning how to sort of condense them down now and sort of become more balanced and then grow from there. Or, in the past 5 years, I've been very dedicated.
Yep.
So my family time and friend time is
Yeah.
My wealth has been high because of all the activities, right? But my health, how much time am I putting towards my health and fitness? Very little as well. So over the years, because I've worked so hard, I'm in a position where, the last 3 years, where I can afford to spend a couple of hours at the gym and start 10 o'clock, much later in the day, spend more time with the wife, pick up the kids from the school. But these are through sacrifice and disciplines. I think the message I'm trying to say, not just when I say to the younger generation, is it takes time to get those things and and reap the rewards of it. But a lot of the younger generation wants it now.
I think that's the key thing, and it's something I've had to learn. Is things worth having will take time and effort.
Yes.
Anything that's worth having, those two things. If it's going to be a quick win, sure, it'll happen, but it's not going to be as fulfilling as something that will take time and effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
You enjoy it more. Gratification. It's like hard work. You've worked to get to that, and I've learned when I was younger, and this is me why I got into finance, because I had no clue about finance.
So go and learn about it.
Yeah. So after making the mistakes, right? I think before I even sort of started switching on to finance and understanding how lending, mortgages, personal loans, credit cards, all these things work. I mean, I already had bought 3 cars through finance. Right.
So I want it now.
Yeah, I made good money, but then I just went out and bought it. And you know what? I didn't look after them.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to look after these cars. Yeah. I set myself the Audi S5 that I've got. That was a goal between me and my mentor. He wanted a yacht. Right? So I said, okay, well, let's help you get your yacht. Right?
And they'll help
you help me get this nice sports car, right? And he got his yacht, and I got my sports car.
I remember it being on the website.
Yeah, that's right. And then 2 years later, he goes, I need a bigger yacht. So he got the bigger one. He got the ocean going one, because we all start with this little one, and
work your way up.
So Paul's been a fantastic mentor. So thank you, Paul. You've taught me a lot.
If you're watching us.
You probably would be.
What's Prashant doing?
What's he up to? So but that's what life's about.
That's it.
Overcoming our challenges, also these areas of that we want to develop and get better at. I've seen you develop over so many years. From picking up the phone. If you can remember, for your first time, I had to force you to pick up the phone and make that phone call. Second time, third time, fourth time. Was it still uncomfortable?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But then the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
Confidence is came by doing.
Correct.
Yeah.
I hated the phone calls. I remember, and I've got to share this. One of my trainers, sales trainers at the time, her name was Karen, and she goes, okay, so your presentation skills are fantastic. People can really see that you want to help them. You've got this really, really nice excitement, and energy about you. And I thought that was fantastic. But Karen, but what? She goes, you suck on the telephone. You just.
That's amazing, because you're probably one of the best people on the telephone that I know. So
I'll share this. And I remember the third day into it, I was making phone calls. She just said, just get up, get out. And she said, just leave the building. And she said, go downstairs. And back then I used to smoke, and I got downstairs. I had one smoke, second smoke, third smoke, and I was like, what's going on with me? Is this the end? I'm good at this. I want to keep doing this sales role. I like helping people. I want to get out there, but if I can't make appointments on the telephone, it's not going to work. And so I remember she kicking me out of there. She goes, "Nah, get up. You're crap. You're shit at this. Get out."
This is back in the 90s when you could do that stuff.
That's right. When there was no such thing as political correctness. And you know what? I respect this lady. She did the best things.
Brutal honesty.
Yeah, brutal honesty. And then she came and got me from downstairs. She goes, "Have you had enough of your smokes? Get up here." And then she took me upstairs, and in front of my desk, she had this little piece of paper with a smiley face. She goes, "Right, basics. Dial, Prashant, dial. Pick up the phone and dial. Look at the picture, the smiley face. Right? Put a smile on your face, and speak to the people. Just speak to them."
Yeah.
And first call, second call, was still uncomfortable. A week into it, still uncomfortable. But I had to find something I liked about the phones. Yeah. And what it was my freedom. I attached my freedom to the phone call, and it was about, okay, every time I pick up the phone, I'm getting closer to my goals. My goals as in income goals, my goals to building a house, my goals to helping my wife get out of a job, my goals to helping people. Because the more people I set free, the more freedom I'm going to get.
Yeah.
You know, so I had these connections that I made. So, and I had to reprogram myself. So I love the telephones. Absolutely love the telephones. You know, and every time I pick up the phone, you know, do I still get annoyed on the telephones?
Yeah,
or people no contacts, or you're spending, 2-3 hours ringing people and no one picks up the phone, or people pick up the phone and they lie to you. Look, I'm busy right now. And nowadays I'm like, I'm busy doing what?
Yeah.
And that sounds rude, but like, let's face it. I can, just because I'm better at communications now, so I can almost say, "John, look, I understand, appreciate what you're saying. I understand you're busy. Most people are busy, but exactly what are you doing that's going to change your life and save you money right now?"
Bang. Step back.
Okay, John, what we need to do is this.
We need it,
Yeah, we need to make a time so we can sit down, work out ways to help you save money, whatever. Yeah. And if John, let me explain something to you. I understand most people are busy. They're busy because of everyone's at them, right? Yeah, do you agree? Yeah, great. Yeah. So if I can give you more time, is that something you'd be interested in?
Oh.
Yeah.
Asking a question.
Yeah. So if you had more time, if I could put more money into your pocket, if you can spend more time with your family, and or if I can help you share more time with your friends and families, that's something that'll be important to you. So people say stuff on the telephones is because they're trying to try you and get rid of you because they think you're going to take their time away from them. So it's like, if you're not good enough to give, present the value or tell them what the opportunity is, what that is, then they should hang up on you.
They should hang up, of course. Or they've been a part of dysfunctional selling in the past.
Correct. And I can't help that.
No, you can't help that.
Yeah, so but I can be better.
You can be better than them. And it's very easy to separate yourself.
Correct. So even with, to your audience, people that, you may not want to get into sales, but you may want to be an effective communicator. So those are the things that you need to put yourself in front of to challenge yourself so you can get better and better.
What are some resources, I guess, for people to? Is there books? Is there what?
Tapes, CDs, books. Be around people that are doing it because it rubs off. I mean, believe it or not, there's times where I've got energy from you, just listening to you on the telephones, making appointments, or talking to people, and we're side by side, or I'm standing around you, or I'm standing around another consultant, and I'm like listening to them, and you can see that they're really genuinely trying to help save someone money, or trying to present an opportunity. So that's an area that I've got energy from, and say I've learned stuff. I've never handled an objection or a concern that way. Or practical is always best. I learn from doing, but I'm a sponge. I love reading this stuff, because it's the industry that I choose to dominate. And I think another takeaway for your audience as well, Tim, is anything that you're going to do, any audience, be in the top 5%. Yeah, just make that.
Be good at it.
Yeah, be exceptional at it.
Exceptional.
Yeah, because when you said good, it reminded me of something else. Tony Robbins. Just because you're good in an industry doesn't mean you're going to dominate. You have to be exceptional.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I think that's that's a good way to. That's a good ending note. So, I just want to ask for anyone who's interested in connecting with you or looking at more of your content, where's the best place to reach out to Prashant Nand?
myfamilyfinance.com.au. Go to the website. You'll get information about me, about what we do, our services. I think the most important thing I want to share with everyone, and as a takeaway at the end of this, podcast, is more or less be you. Just tell us honestly what you're after, and this is what's important to you. Because as soon as you do that, for me, if I'm working with you or one of my consultants are working with you or any of my staff members, we automatically get triggered to say, okay, how do we help this person?
Yeah.
But if you start, the common question that people ask me is, what are your fees or what do you do? And I'm saying it's irrelevant. If I'm saving 150,000, I charge you $8,000 or $10,000. I'll charge you 20,000. Right? If you're debt free,
be honest.
Yeah. And I understand no one wants to get ripped off. No one wants to pay for stuff that they're not going to use, they're not going to need. But that's not the important thing. Yeah. Just say, look, Prashant, it's me and my wife. I've got a couple of kids. We've got a couple of credit cards here, personal loans. We want to work with you to pay down your debt, get rid of mortgages or whatever it is, and really set ourselves up for the future.
Yeah.
Very few people do that, but if I get that phone call, mate, my eyes light up and say, right, how do I help this person? Yeah, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Awesome. Well, Prashant, thank you.
No problem.
That's very good. Alright, that was episode 4 with Prashant Nand. I hope you guys got some real value there in terms of finance, budgeting, life, interviews and mortgages. He really inspires me with what he does, so I implore you to go back and follow him through those channels. What I'd love for you to do now is follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can even email me if you've got some questions at tim@beantalking.com.au. Would love to hear from you. Apart from that, I'll see you in episode 5. Really looking forward to that one.